Radio Hereford FC, the only station with full match commentaries of the Bulls. Every game, every week.
Well, hello again and welcome to a Going Down the Pub special.
We like our
This is special. We're going to have a look at where we are at the moment, with particular reference to Kings Lynn and where they are at the moment. Let's put our cards on the table. At the moment, on the day that we speak, Hereford have got 14 games left.
That's right.
Kings Lynn have got 12 games left. The Bulls are 4 points in front and have 2 games in hand, which potentially is a 10-point advantage.
Exactly.
In other words, if both teams were to win all their remaining games, the Bulls would win the league by 10 points. Or, look at it another way, that can't happen because we're playing Kings Lynn and something's got to give there, even if it's only a draw. They have got to better our results. Over their last 12 games, they have got to better our results by 9 points or more.
When you think who they've got to play,
Yeah.
as well as us, they've got to play Slough twice,
Yeah.
and Kettering again.
Right. Well, we've got to play Kettering, we've got to play Weymouth, and we've got to play them at Hereford. So, if you look at it statistically, if Hereford were to lose against Weymouth, lose against Kettering, and lose against Kings Lynn, but win all their other games, even if Kings Lynn were to win all their matches, Hereford would still win the league by 1 point. I mean, if you look at it,
That's torturous, Frank.
it is torturous, but it is a big gap.
Yes,
Isn't it? They have to better our results. It's the 2 games in hand, they're worth 6 points. So they have to better our results over their remaining 12 games by almost a point a game.
It's a big ask.
It's a big ask for any team. And of course, every point they drop adds to that. So if they were only to draw on Saturday and Hereford to win, then in their remaining 11 matches, they'd have to make up a minimum of 12 points. So, we are in the driving seat, but I'm not counting chickens here. I'm just saying statistically, it's very much in our favour.
I think if we get to the stage, we are 10 points ahead of them before we play them. I think their agenda will change. I think they'll be looking at the playoff place.
Well, don't you think their playoff place is almost assured now?
It is, but don't forget, they're 1 games and single matches, and the higher club plays at home, so they want to be second if they can't be first, because they want home advantage.
Yes, exactly. Well, second or third. Well, second or third gives you home advantage.
It does, but second guarantees home in the final.
As well, yeah, indeed. Well, of course, that's been the system we've worked out all the way through so far, and we haven't had to come into any playoffs yet, and let's hope that still doesn't happen. Anyway, we'll pay Kings Lynn the courtesy of spending a little bit of time talking about them, because we know a little bit about them. Obviously, we've played them. We played them away, 2-0 up at half time, looking comfortable. We were talking and then 3 second half goals. It all came. The wheels came off, and yet we still should have won that game. We had a couple of chances in the second half when it was 2-1. We should have made it 3-1 on 2 occasions. Once from John Mills and once from Lance Smith. We had the chance to be 3, possibly 4-1 up.
Very good keeper. So, they had.
Also our strikers were off form.
Yeah, we complain because they only scored 2 goals in the game. It's not enough. It's not enough.
But anyway.
I mean, let's look at Kings Lynn and everything about Kings Lynn, really. I mean, we ought to welcome their supporters, of course, and assure them that their presence doesn't constitute a security crisis, and therefore it's normal admission prices.
Right. There must be a temptation to retaliate, isn't there, really?
Well, there is, but we just be hitting the wrong people. They didn't make the decision. It's the club owner who made that decision.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, despite the temptation to retaliate, it's not right, is it? I mean, we took 350 supporters to Dunstable. They were grateful to see us. didn't see the need to make a quick buck, even though they can't afford a pot to relieve themselves in, you know.
And actually, at the end of the day, they probably made more bucks out of treating us like that than they would have ever. Because I met some people. You could buy your refreshments from the clubhouse. You know, you had your Bestie burgers and your
green tea,
and whatever, and your Barry fries, if you remember, from the clubhouse. But that was council run, and they had their own burger on the other side of the ground and their own beer selling on the other side of the ground. And when our supporters found out that the club were getting the money from those, whereas the council were getting the money from the others, they diverted and went over the other side, which was really nice. Yeah, I met people and informed them of that, and they went, "Oh, that's it then." We were going to have, because the council-run facility did this, a pint and a pie for a £5.
Right.
And of course, that a lot of people went for that. And somebody I know very well, and you know very well, went for that. And when he found out afterwards that he was giving the money to council, not the club, he was mortified. He said, "I'd rather have spent £7, £3.50 for a burger, £3.50 for a pint on the other side, knowing that the profits were going to the club, rather than the council." So that was very good, and I know people did support that.
Good on it, yeah.
And also the queue at the council went. Well, they didn't know what they were doing, but anyway,
no,
it was very good. But yes, what we're trying to say is, we'll not retaliate.
We'd like to charge the owner an awful lot of money to go into the boardroom door, but I suppose we can't do that.
But that's right. The way we were treated at Kings Lynn was not the most hospitable.
No.
We've ever come across. Maybe the bigger clubs in this league could take an example from some of their poorer relations, and the league would be better for it.
Exactly. You know, I genuinely thought that Kings Lynn was, shall we say, a significant club in the pyramid terms, but in reality, actually, they're not. They've gone bust at least twice, possibly 3 times, and to date they've only ever reached step 2 for 1 season.
Is that right?
Yeah. Conference North, they were there for 1 season.
When we go back in our history, we met them a lot, but of course that was in the old Southern League days. That was before the days of conference football and steps. We didn't talk about it. I suppose you could say that the Southern League and the Northern Premier at that time, back in the early 70s,
they were step 1 then, were the equivalent.
The equivalent of step 1, but they've never reached those heights since.
No, and they actually finished quite reasonable in step 2, but they got relegated because they failed a ground inspection, which is a bit different.
Oh gosh.
Dressing rooms too small, not enough turnstiles, etc., etc. They are a well supported non-league club and always have been, but the cynics out there may point out there isn't actually much else to do in the town.
No, indeed.
I mean, when we visited Kings Lynn, all the interesting pubs are closed by 10 o'clock.
I can tell you a little story about that area of. I digress a little bit.
No, not like you.
But you know, my lad's a drummer.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, he plays in an ABBA tribute band.
Right.
All right. Well, I'd say he plays it. He guests for them when it's right, and. They have to dress up in all the gear. Fantastic.
Sounds great.
And of course, around here, Black and whatever, they go and play. Well, not pub and club. They do functions, basically parties and whatever. But over there, he went the week after we played Kings Lynn. He was booked over there on the Saturday night.
Right.
He's fated like royalty. I mean, getting an ABBA tribute band over there. What a whole town comes out. Whatever. He said 250 people, and he said at least 4 of the blokes there were straight. It was amazing, and they all come out and thought, "Wow, the biggest thing that hit town for weeks."
Oh dear.
Sort of thing. And I thought, well, yes, right, fine.
They didn't come out when we were there, did they? The Wetherspoons deserted apart from us,
and they closed. They kicked us out.
I've never 12, though, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, that doesn't happen in Old Owing. 3 o'clock.
Oh my word! Yeah. Well, look, that's way past their bedtime. The place really did feel like the end of the earth. I said I'd wander down there the following morning.
After the match, we could not get any takeaway food anywhere in town apart from one pizza place, which was 2 miles away from the pub, if you remember.
No.
Nothing was open at all. I had to get a sandwich from a garage on the way back. That's all we could find. Nothing. No Chinese open, no Indian, nothing.
Word. It closes down, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, are we talking about Kings Lynn or are we talking about Hereford?
Well, no, surely not. Far better than that.
Absolutely.
Rather like Weymouth, Kings Lynn do rely heavily on having a big club nearby.
Yeah.
Their manager played 360 times for Norwich.
Yeah.
And a decent number of the squad have Canaries connections. I mean, Kings Lynn did ever so well to get Ian Culverhouse as their manager, because he's a genuine name in East Anglia. But if you want to be cynical, there's an argument that his career is going backwards. It's a long way down from being assistant manager at Norwich and Aston Villa to drop down into step 3. The fact that he was dismissed for bullying by Aston Villa probably put a lot of clubs off. I mean, you've got to be bad to be sacked for that in football.
Well, you've got to be bad to be sacked from Aston Villa.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Unless you're a manager, of course.
And if you read the forums...
I'm not suggesting that Villa always have bad managers, by the way. I'm suggesting they get through them.
Yes, OK. Right. Be diplomatic here.
But they do have bad managers. Carry on.
They do. Bad players as well, but mutter. According to supporters' forums, I mean, Culverhouse might be gone as soon as a bigger job comes up, i.e. Cambridge. Again, according to rumour, he doesn't get on with the club owner Stephen Cleeve, but probably understandable. Cleeve has something of a dodgy past. He's had an 8-year ban from being a director for misdeeds in the past.
Right, now, I can't... we do have a website link here, which is really, really, really long. I can't read it out.
No. I think if you just said "this is money, Stephen Cleeve," you can go and have a look for yourself.
Yes, you will.
It'll come up on Google.
It's www.thisismoney.co.uk. And if you search for Stephen Cleeve, that's C-L-E-E-V-E. But I will tell you that the title of the article is "Shady Truth Behind UKIP's Stephen Cleeve."
He stood as a UKIP candidate, but then decided to resign before the election day.
So all we're doing here is passing on information that is freely available out there, and in no way is it meant to be a detrimental comment against Mr. Stephen Cleeve. We're just pointing out it is a shady past. It's not just saying it's a shady past. It's actually thisismoney.co.uk is saying a shady past.
He's had an 8-year ban from being a director, so...
and he doesn't get on with his manager.
We understand that.
Yes, he doesn't sack his manager.
Well, Culverhouse is a big name, isn't he?
Yeah,
in that part of the world.
So,
How much he gets people in. Kings Lynn, they're bought in basically a whole new squad this season. Well, a whole new team, perhaps, rather than the squad, but including at least one player for a fee, so they have been throwing money around. 5 of the squad are 30 or over, so they've been around, done it. 7 of them have played for Norwich. 2 have played in Norwich in the Premier League. And we know they're strong at home, but away, they're actually surprisingly vulnerable to the better clubs. Obviously, they haven't been to us, Chesham or Slough, but they've visited Royston, Weymouth and Kettering. They lost all 3 and didn't score 1 goal in those games.
Well, that actually, you could say, probably is their poor record against the better teams away from home is what's made the difference between them and us at the moment, because they are the only team that we away from home in the top 5 that we haven't taken points off. And we've played all the others, and they've still got some to go. They've got to play Slough again. They've got to play Kettering again. So, this business of they've got to win. They've got to win every game and hope that we drop 10 points in that process.
Big ask.
It's a big ask. Yeah.
I mean, the squad that they have is small, and providing they're fit, basically it's the same team every game. 9 players have featured in sort of 90% of the game, so it's very easy to work out what the team's going to be. So I just give you a few pointers. In goal is Alex Street, ever present. He was a thorough nuisance at the game at the Walks because he made a series of very annoying saves, just thought we'd scored. He's an interesting guy. Been at Lynn 8 years and self-employed. Now, one of his jobs, curiously, is operating street cleaning machine in Kings Lynn.
So he doesn't need a sweeper in front of him, then, does he? No, I'll tell you that. Yeah, all right.
But, you can't imagine the horse whizzing around Hereford in a street cleaning machine somehow, can you? The back 4 is basically the back 4. It doesn't rotate like ours does. Right back, Cameron Norman. I had a couple of nightmares about Cameron Norman.
Yes, he did.
As Cam Pring did,
a bit ragged, But that was actually our setup didn't give Cameron Pring an awful lot of support in front of him, outlet in front of him. There was no recognised left-sided midfielder player in the team that night.
He's ex-Norwich, and basically he's one of Lynn's best players because he's so very, very quick and likes attacking.
Well, yes, and his work down the right-hand side did lead to problems.
2 goals, isn't it? Central defenders will be Ryan Fryatt and Tom Watts. Fryatt's been around a long time, 300 games for Linnets. Now, Watts dislocated his collarbone and just the number of games that must have been painful.
Yeah, now actually their centre of event is where they look vulnerable. I thought because Johnny Mills with that goal before half time, certainly, and the 2 chances we had early in the second half, just after they'd scored.
Absolutely.
They were caught for pace down the middle then. So obviously, Bedes is aware, knows more about this than we do, and obviously these things have already been known.
Yeah, I mean they've got a young left back, 20-year-old Fraser Blake Tracy, and that makes it the back 4. Lynn midfield is strong. I think they're probably better at coming forward than defending. Oh dear. Craig Parker's 30 years old.
Well, he's been around a bit, hasn't he?
He has. He's been around a lot of non-league sides. Alongside him is little Michael Clunan. He's the pest who takes the corners, the free kicks, and the penalties.
Oh, that's why. Joint top scorer, but only 14.
14. Yeah. Right. Now, they got onto the bigger names. On left is 35-year-old Simon Lappin. Played hundreds of league games for Norwich, St Johnstone, everybody else. And he's a strong bloke. I mean, I remember some of our guys just sort of bouncing off him, you know.
Right,
and on the right, equally experienced guy, Ryan Jarvis, 31, 400 games, played in the Premiership and every league below that, including the Scottish Premier League.
Which is a long way below it.
Yes. People who are Kings Lynn may remember a new signing called Cameron King, who, ex-Norwich of course, he injured his ankle against Hereford and hasn't played since. So don't have to worry about him. Up front, this is basically the same pairing normally. Michael Gash.
Very impressed with Michael Gash.
170 goals in 500 appearances and got 10 goals. He's a target man. Apparently it's only 5'10". He looked a lot bigger than that to me. You know, he was a real handful for us, but because we didn't have Greener, did we?
But he was with Barnet last season in the Football League.
He was. And he got an injury, an ACL injury, that the whole season, so they told him to go away, unfortunately. And, you know, nobody would take a chance on him with an injury record. Alongside him, Ryan Hawkins, also joint top scorer, 14. Ex-Norwich, surprise, surprise. You might see him swapping with Jarvis. One more name, a couple more names to mention. Toby Hillard.
Oh, he's the one.
Yeah, he's the one. Yeah, Impact sub.
Yeah, and he scored against us, didn't he?
And against Banbury that Saturday, 94th minute. You know.
He comes on late and gets them late.
Yeah, unfortunately. If they need a big bloke, they call on Leon Metham. He's 31, been around a bit. He's a mate of Rob Purdy when they both played at Tamworth.
Right, because when Tamworth, Purdy was player manager for half the season.
That's right. So they know each other very well. So, I mean, there you go. Quick run through the Kings Lynn team. No extra charge for this service.
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
It feels big, doesn't it?
Of course, it very much does. Very much does, you know. And it deserves a big gate, you know. The bigger the better, really.
Now, although we say it's not a must-win for us, it's exactly the same as when we played away. When we played away, it was a must-win for them, and it would have been nice not to lose for us.
Exactly.
It's almost the same position. Actually... A draw is a brilliant result for us.
It is.
At home, a draw would be brilliant because it would then mean they'd have to be 12 points better off than the rest.
I do hope our supporters do understand that. You know, we can't always have champagne football and 6-0 wins.
Well, no, that's right. Because it would keep. If it was a draw, it would keep that 10-point gap, which they need. They have to be 10 points better than us over their remaining 12 games. Is a lot. It's a big ask.
It's a huge ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, one other factor we need to mention, we are Hereford FC and only one club's ever beaten us twice.
Yes.
You know? We don't stand for it, you know, we're the mighty Hereford.
Yeah, but unfortunately it was Highgate.
Yeah.
Jamie Molyneux now plies his trade.
Oh dear, I mean, I know it's convenient for where he lives, but oh dear.
Yeah, but having to go back, leaving Westfields after the game on the Tuesday, and then going back there on the Saturday, playing for a different club after playing for them, and assisting 2 goals in 5-0 win for Highgate. Oh dear. I wonder if he celebrated the goals. People don't normally in situations like that. What you would have thought. I'm sorry, Jamie, I hope you don't listen to this. I would have thought you could have done better for yourself. I mean, there are enough clubs in the South Birmingham area without you having to go to Highgate.
Exactly.
I would have thought.
Yeah, there aren't that many in Birmingham, but, you know, Boldmere with a club.
Well,
Family club, same level.
yes.
But anyway, I must give a big shout out for the new Talking Bull, which will be out
Indeed.
on March the 10th against Kings Lynn.
If you've got an article you want to put in, anybody, it's
You have to be quick.
deadline's the 23rd, which
Yeah,
is
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, yeah.
You know, look out for those dodgy sellers behind the main stands.
Yes.
It's been a long time
It'll
coming.
be out for the Kings Lynn match.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, you know, 'cause there you go. Partly because I prioritise supping sangria in the sun to selling fanzine, but there you go.
Yeah.
Not my fault, blame me.
How was your holiday in Lanzarote, by the way?
It was really, really good. Sadly, it was the coldest weather Lanzarote seen for years,
Right.
so we were indoors, didn't want to go out, but we did find lots of jolly good sangria places. And we spent bizarrely quite a bit of time in the bar owned by a Brummie, but there you go.
Well, of course, I'm going in the close season. Whitsun, the late May holiday. Yes, I'm going to spend a week in Prague.
Awesome.
Should be really nice.
That's very cultural.
Yes, we shall take a pack of cards and the crib board, 4 of us going, and it is a bit cultural, isn't it?
Yeah.
Art and music, Gothic architecture,
my word.
and music, and very cheap. I was working it out. It's Karuna. They're not in the Eurozone. Karuna, no, Karuna. 500 millilitres, so half a litre of their ale is 23 Karuna.
Oh my word.
23 Karuna is 70p. And Czech beer in Prague
You're going to
is
be very
generally
ill.
reckoned to be the best. 26 Karuna to the pound. It's amazing.
Well, it's a very appropriate subject to be covering
It is.
on going down the pub, isn't it?
It is. Yes, well, we'll be going down the pub in Prague, but that's not till May. That's
Right, so that's
so
the
nobody
Kings Lynn
nobody's
position.
allowed to take any holidays or vacations now until April the 28th, the end of the season, when we'll be at St Ives, won't we, for the final game of the season. Now, that's one of the few grand guides we've got left to do, really.
Yeah, well, that's one of mine. It'll be fun.
It will.
A lovely trip.
Oh yes, and if the title is secured by then, which fingers crossed, we've all got our fingers crossed in here. The gentleman sitting in the corner has got his fingers crossed, but I don't know whether he can hear. I think he's just ill, actually.
And
Then
just to
hopefully it'll all be
confirm-
over by that big party.
Yep, just to confirm once again, it's not the one in Cornwall.
No, indeed.
So don't go in south, you'll be going the wrong way.
Absolutely. Well, look, thanks for that. That's just caught up with the state of play at the moment, and a little bit about Kings Lynn, and we'll catch up with you again with one of our away ground guides very, very shortly. Thank you.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls. Match Day Live.